say Vitae Nova! Vitae Nova! Vitae Nova! Vitae!
This is Bicolline, where once a year, over 5,000 people will come together for the Grand Bataille. And will spend the week leading up to it living in a fully immersive medieval village, where you get to choose your adventure, whether it be questing for treasure, fighting for your guild, discovering Fay magic, or simply telling stories around the campfire. This 7-day event is the largest medieval roleplay in North America, and I decided on a whim to go into it with absolutely no LARP experience. So here's the story of how I dropped everything to go play a giant game of make-believe in the Canadian woods, and it ended up being one of the most fun experiences of my life. So Bicolline is just this absolutely gorgeous medieval village in northern Quebec, Canada. And they have LARP events happening there all year long, but the Grand Bataille, or the Grand Battle, is the really big event that everyone travels to. And during this time, you spend the entire week dressing, fighting, eating, drinking as if it was medieval times. So I first heard about Bicolline back in 2019 when Momo O'Brien, who is a creator that I absolutely love and adore, made a video talking about her experience there. And I remember watching it as a broke little college student being like, ah, that looks so cool. Too bad I could never do something like that one day. Then 5 years and 1 plague later, I get another video recommended to me about Bicolline. I remember watching that video and being like, ah, that looks so cool. Too bad I could never. Hold on, I have adult money now. Is this what I'm using it for? What point of having adult money if not for this? And I think within a week, I was signed up for a medieval camping trip to Canada, which is absolutely wild because I don't do adventurous stuff. I'm a YouTuber. We don't leave the house. There's a reason people say that we need to go outside and touch grass. I don't travel. I've never been camping. I had never even left the country before. I had to get a passport just to go on this trip. Truly, the lengths I will go for just a taste of whimsy. Since this was my first time doing like anything like this, I decided to go with a company called the Voyage North, who works with Bicolline to create these like all-in-one packages, making it easier for people from all around the world to go and experience Bicolline. So when you sign up with them, they take care of your ticket, your tent, your food, and you get entered into one of their guilds. Not only do they handle a bunch of the logistics, but Jordan and his team have been working for like the last 10 years to create this absolutely amazing community. Everyone I met there was so kind and so welcoming, and it was really nice because I was traveling alone to another country, but I never really like felt alone because of that. They were also super nice and gave me permission to film under one of their media passes, so I was actually able to film this game because normally you're not allowed to have cameras or technology, so I am very grateful that they allowed me to do that so I can share this experience with y'all. Awesome people. I'll leave the links to all their things in the description. You know how it is.
Year number 10 of the Voyage North. You're gonna have to deal with it. I'm probably gonna cry, okay?
So a lot of the guilds that I'm going to be talking about today are from the TVN, but there are so many amazing guilds at Bico that it's also highly encouraged to go out and make as many friends as possible from as many guilds. The primary language at Bico is Quebecois French because it is in Quebec, Canada. So a lot of the official ceremonies and the guilds do speak French, but it doesn't matter if it's a French or an English-speaking guild. Normally, if you show up with some drinks to share looking for a good time, they'll be happy to have you. Yes, gather round, let me tell you a tale of my journeys to Bicolline. Nothing like iced coffee out of a tankard makes me feel like I'm still there. So the first part of this journey was just me getting to the Montreal airport. And from there, I met up with the other TVN people, which was really cool because I had already met some of them from Discord and Zoom calls beforehand, so it was nice to finally get to meet them all. It was so funny going to the airport because you could definitely tell who was going on this trip because they would have just like swords and shields with them.
It feels exactly like getting ready for summer camp right now.
Or at least what I think it would be like. I never went to a summer camp as a kid, so it was really cool that we have like the chance now. Like an adult fantasy summer camp. I don't like the way I phrased that. A fantasy summer camp for adults. There we go.
We're all adults, right?
Yeah! Let's go play pretend!
On the way there, we actually stopped at like this really, really cool LARP store called Arsons du Jour. One of the coolest shops I have ever been to, and within 5 minutes of being in there, I had spent way too much money. What point of adult money if not spend on medieval clothing? And from there is a very scenic bus ride into the Quebec mountains. I think it's mountains. I don't know. I'm from Florida, so everything looks like a mountain to me. And finally, we arrived at Bicolline. From there, we signed in. We got something called population cards, which is used in the geopolitical game, which I'll get to later. And we also got some solar, which is the in-game currency, which is really cool because it's like actual like metal coins that they gave us to use. It feels so cool. Oh my gosh, and just seeing Bicolline for the first time, I was absolutely freaking out that I was going to be spending an entire week in this absolutely gorgeous place. From there, I got assigned a medieval tent and got to meet my tent mates, Orion and Millicent. And it was so nice getting to like finally meet them in person and get to know them throughout the week. And they're just so freaking sweet. It was so fun to see everyone so excited. Slowly, everyone started to settle in and change into their medieval kits and start exploring the lantern-filled streets. As the sun set, a cannon fired, letting everyone know that the game had begun. So from then on out, we were playing as our chosen characters. So I was no longer Jess, but instead I was my character, Trix. And you might have noticed in the thumbnail, but there's one very defining feature of Trix, and that's that they were a fox fae. Yep, I committed to wearing furry ears for an entire week. I don't know what I was thinking. When I was first picking my character was right around when I was having my little quarter-life crisis and accidentally dyed my hair completely orange. I decided to just kind of roll with it and work it into my character, so fox ears. I'm honestly really glad I did it because no one really batted an eye at it. We're already playing a game of pretend in the woods. Yeah, you have ears. It also made it really easy for people to remember who my character was because we were learning a lot of character names at once. So it's easy for people to be like, oh yeah, that's Trix the Fox. Or you know, that one furry from Nova Vitae. Oh god, am I gonna wear the ears for the rest of the video? You saw the thumbnail, you know what you're signing up for. So at Bicolline, there's no like official itinerary. Like once the game starts, it is completely up to you what you want to do, and there is so much to do. Every morning I would walk out of my tent and look at the events board to just see what was happening for the day. Bicolline is huge, so honestly, if you just went out and explored, you would probably find something to do. Or on these boards, you can find places to go get quests. You do those quests, you can either get solar for doing a quest for the bank, or maybe you can go to the mage tower and earn wizard points or something like that to get magical resources for your guild. You could practice dueling with your guild mates. Do you guys mind if I record your duel?
They're better.
No, I'm putting you on the spot right now.
Now we have to do good.
Or they even had like a fantasy sport that you could go and watch and also go and play in. It's called Troll Ball. I didn't fully learn all the rules of it. I just know the ball is a troll head, you have swords, and there's healers, and just overall it just kind of looks like a cooler football to me, in my opinion.
Go, go, go!
They had this place called Newtown, which had a bunch of vendors where you could go and like buy more medieval LARP gear, but it actually felt like you were going and walking to a market to do so. You could find weapons, clothes, tankards, just anything that you would need for that week for the game. Unfortunately, the market was real money because, you know, Solar doesn't really pay the bills outside of Bicolline. But there were a ton of people who were like bartering and trading stuff for Solar, which actually leads me to like one of the coolest moments for me that really made it feel like I was like a part of this like living town. I was part of a cartography group, and one day we decided that we were going to set up shop on the side of the road and try and sell our maps.
Maps for sale. Get the wonderful souvenir and don't get lost. Handmade. better than those maps they're giving you over there.
I am apparently a terrible salesperson.
We kept on referencing that one scene from Our Flag Means Death, where Bonnet was trying to like sell their captive.
Man for sale! Man for sale!
So we kept on doing that, but it's like, maps for sale, somebody buy my booty. Being turned into a salesperson is not the normal thing that you do on vacation, but honestly, it was a lot of fun. I actually feel like I became quite the good salesperson by the end of that. Like here, watch this. Let me take a moment to tell you about this video sponsor, World Anvil. I don't have my handheld microphone ready, so we're just gonna pretend the sword is one. Are you someone who loves world building and developing characters that you get way too attached to for your RPG worlds? Of course you do. You're watching a video about LARP, you freaking nerd. World Anvil is the ultimate world building toolkit for writers, dungeon masters, and players alike. Take the lore of your world and quickly turn it into wiki-style articles, in-depth timelines, and also interactive maps that you can share directly to your players. That way they stop asking you the same 5 questions every single session. You get to choose what your players can and cannot see, so you get to reveal information as they explore the world through their campaign. And if you're a player, you get to keep track of your character's stats, backstory, spells, and equipment all in one tab. So you can actually keep your stuff organized, unlike my previous notebook. Ooh, I think we know who this guy is. Let me just check my notes. Yeah, not a clue. My DM hated me. Don't be like me. You can sign up for a free account on World Anvil, and once you want to unlock all of its features, you can use code JESSLESS for 51% off. 50 what? Why is it 51? They literally went, nah, half off isn't good enough. 51% off. I don't know why I find that so funny. Thank you once again, World Anvil, for supporting the channel and also supporting my new addiction to buying LARP gear. Not only were there more like official quests and events going on, like put on by Bicolline, but a lot of players would set up cool stuff for other players to enjoy. Like I mentioned before, I was part of a cartography house called the Atlas Symposium, a group of cartographers and wayfinders that very ironically kept on getting lost the entire event. And all of this was set up and run by my very talented tent mates. Like they created these absolutely gorgeous hand-drawn maps with official seals. They brought supplies so we could like make our own maps at camp, which was then interrupted when we were delivered a mysterious message.
Orion and Millicent, these pieces have been retrieved as requested. I sent some dark magic present. Indeed, it appears to be the shattered ram leading to the...
Excuse me.
I'm so sorry. Ollie.
Die quieter!
I wish I could.
I thought the plague was years ago. Okay.
We were then putting together this long-lost map that led to a party between the Veil that was hosted at like another guild's camp later that night.
He's a guest here. You be nice to my guest. I'm so sorry.
This was my doing. I'm a very talented person. You did this to me? Yeah, I did. How does it feel, by the way? Is there anything terrible? I'm honestly surprised you're alive. You are definitely supposed to be dead by now. You should seriously hear this spell. It's the Shattered Ram because I sacrificed your soul like a sacrificial lamb. Isn't it amazing? That's awesome. And now you're a ram. It's and I'm about to die. So
very cool.
They set up this like really cool roleplay moment where we had to discover clues and solve riddles to find a treasure map that eventually led to a new quest of another heist at like a different guild later that week. It was honestly such a cool moment, and the thing that made it like really impactful is that people took time out of their vacation to set it up for us to have fun. And it's like, it wasn't just them. There was also other houses that set up tournaments for anyone to join, that set up a fashion show so people can show off their kits. Speaking of roleplay moments, there are a ton of ceremonies that you can go to at Bicolline. And the one that I was most excited for was the Fay Heritage Ceremony. Because, you know, I felt like I needed to earn my I need to earn my Fay ears. not furry. If it's medieval, it's Fay.
Gathered you here together this
evening so that you may connect to your own heritage, your own past, and your hands are full of stone. I ask that over the next few minutes, you wrap your hands around that stone and hold it tight.
Well, to turn into a fay wouldn't do us any harm. Well, to turn into a fay wouldn't do us any harm.
Thank you. Thank you.
Now, one of my favorite parts about Bicolline that really made me feel immersed in the game was being part of a guild. Now, Bicolline as a game has been going on for years. So alongside all the events that they hold at Bicolline, there's also this online geopolitical game happening at the same time that is like mirroring what is happening in the real life game and vice versa. So on the online game, there's like a bunch of different kingdoms with alliances and stuff like that, all like fighting for in-game resources. And guilds will pledge their loyalty to their kingdoms to help them in this game. So when you join a guild, you are suddenly part of like this history and now kind of have a little bit of influence on this huge game happening. For example, the TVN guilds are the ones that I know the best. You have the March Wardens who are with the Kingdom of Burkwald, and I believe they're kind of like mercenaries for hire. And I swear they have the best drip on and off the battlefield. Then you have Order of the Survey, which is like the original TBN guild, so it's like the largest and most well established. What's like really cool is a few years back, they ended up leaving their kingdom and going to like the opposing enemy kingdom because of reasons. I don't know the politics off the top of my head. So because of this in-game decision, it actually had a civil war in the guild, and they end up creating the Guild of Militoon, which is a military-based guild that made the correct decision of staying loyal to the Kingdom of Terre de Sioux, which so happens to also be the same kingdom that my guild is a part of. Nova Vitae, a group of freedom fighters and chain breakers that kneel to no one, and will fight to the last for those who have earned their loyalty. I'm obviously very biased, but I think the vibes of our guild were simply immaculate. So it was actually a lot of fun not having all the guilds be on the same side. Like, yes, we were opposing kingdoms, but our camps were like right next to each other. So I had a ton of friends in Ordo, and it'd be super fun to banter back and forth of like, when are you going to come to your senses and rejoin Terre de Sioux? And they'd be like, have fun paying taxes to your king, which is a lot more fun than all of us just getting along.
Nova Vitae is crossed us for the last time. The price for meddling in our guild and company affairs is steep, and the payment shall be your blood.
There was a body, but we moved it to Jordan's cabin.
You moved it to Jordan?
Crossed. What happened?
We have no idea.
Is this like someone from Ordo, I would imagine?
No, I have a theory that the March Wardens are actually assassinating each of the TVN guild leaders. Yeah.
But like, since we're part of a kingdom, it means that like we have a king, we have a princess, we have an archmage. And if you show in-game loyalty and dedication, it's possible to become a knight. Like, here's the Terre de Sioux knighting ceremony.
But in the South, we truly believe that what defines you is not your lineage or what you are, but what you do. But I will push it further and say that I believe that what defines you is not what you do, but who you love and how you care for them.
As all of you, I fell in love with an incredible king. Someone who would truly break chains. King Ratan!
When we are facing overwhelming forces, when we are facing impossible odds, and those knights, all the knights of the South, are the first line of defense.
Knights of the South!
The whole ceremony was honestly just so sweet and filled with heartfelt moments. So being a part of Nova Vitae just led me to meet so many nice and kind, amazing people who just kind of become your family during the week. And these are the people that you will ride or die with on the battlefield.
Nova! Vitae! Nova! Vitae! Nova! Vitae!
Oh, did I not mention yet just how crazy cool the battles are at Bicolline?
So once you die, walk to either side. You can go to either one, and so can the enemy. Yes. So make sure you're looking at armbands. We are blue, they are yellow. Okay?
We need to go hunt the elk. And you are but a monkey with a rock. You need to solve that puzzle. How do I pummel this elk with said rock? And if you pummel that elk with the rock first, then you hunt that elk. It cannot hunt you.
So there are battles throughout the week that kind of tell a story leading up to the grand battle at the end. I believe the plot this year was a bunch of either magical resources, artifacts appeared, and it was a bunch of kingdoms fighting for control over it. At least I think. I mostly just went where our general told us to go. If they were like, we need to protect this nice meadow, we're like, we love this meadow, we will die for this meadow. But these battles are so crazy big, so you need a lot of strategy. So it's not just only people running around and hitting each other with foam sticks, though that is a big part of it. We have orders of command, so we have generals telling us, we need shields up front, skirmishers go around and flank. Oh, we need to protect the archers so they can start breaking through their shield wall.
Archers, you remember this place? Oh, yeah. Wonderland for us, right? Oh, wonder why?
Even though these battles look intense, safety is definitely one of the #1 priorities. All weapons that enter the battlefield go through something called homologation, where they check to make sure that everything is up to standard and safe. On the field, there's a ton of marshals making sure that everyone is safe, no one's hurt, and that everyone is following the rules. And normally people are kind of checking up on each other as well, doesn't matter what side of the battlefield you're on. There were like times where it's like I accidentally got like bonked on the head and the other person would be like, oh my god, I'm so sorry, are you okay? And you're like, yeah, it's fine, it's just a flesh wound. But like it's all foam, so most of the time it's fine. And with TVN, they made sure that we all went to like a combat training beforehand to make sure that we were all comfortable and knew the rules before we actually went on any of the battlefields.
Ryan, how was your first battle experience?
So fun! Ready for more.
I think it's very unfair that people with longer sticks can kill you easier. And Mama, I just have this little short sword.
I mean, that's medieval history for you. I mean, that's...
But what about my feelings?
Originally, I brought like a little short sword to fight with because it was what would fit in my luggage. Turns out if you want to win on the battlefield, you should go with like the 10-foot stick of death. So upon the first battle, they let me borrow a pike from the armory, and the conversation essentially went something along the lines of, go for the knees. Yeah, I can do that. Originally going into the LARP, I didn't think I would enjoy fighting all that much. Like I was going to give it a try and maybe try 1 or 2 battles, but it wasn't what like I was looking forward to. But actually, fighting was the highlight of my week. It is so freaking fun. Like the adrenaline you get going against a giant shield wall running at you is so freaking cool. And now next year, I'm like, I want to see what it's like to be an archer. I want to learn how to duel people. I want to know what it's like to hold the shield wall. Like, I'm looking forward to so much next year. And the great thing is that no matter what side of the battlefield you were on during the day, when it comes to night, it's all about drinking and celebrating and having a good time, no matter what guild you're a part of. Now, I do think I have to take a moment to absolutely just brag and gush about how much I loved our guild, Nova Vitae. Like, our leaders were these absolutely crazy Aussies who flew halfway around the world for this game, and some of the kindest people. Like, so many of us in Nova Vitae, it was like our first year and first time even LARPing, that they did such a good job like sharing their passion to the game and made sure that we were having a good time as well.
Yo, guess what we did? We fucking won. There they were, Aragons, barbecue sauce all over their titties.
And oh my gosh, they were such good teachers, and it didn't matter if we were just picking up a sword for the first time, they'd be like, okay, we're starting there.
I'm going too close. I have bamboozled myself.
I feel like their energy helped bring our guild so much closer together. One of my favorite things from the week was the fact that our guild was just devolving throughout the week.
What are we doing?
Unga, bunga, unga, bunga, unga, bunga, bunga, bunga.
And just as we're setting up position, what do we find in that beautiful battlefield, if not a fucking banana peel? A banana peel on top of it, and we just start praising the banana, going, "Bunga, bunga, bunga, bunga." What does this man do? He runs out of the trees, banana peel in hand, pa! Shield won't stop. So we start the rest of the battle that way because of LARPing.
So obviously this week is a lot, and I wanted to talk about my experience as a first-time role player, like committing to a LARP of like playing a character for an entire week is a long time. So like the level of roleplay really does vary at Bicolline. Unlike in D&D where you create like very specific characters with character voices and stuff like that, the advice that we got going into it was kind of just like, pick a character name, don't overthink lore or backstory, just mostly be yourself but in a fantasy setting, and just throughout the week your character will kind of develop in itself. And we would kind of go like in and out of roleplay. Like there would be times when you would just be talking to someone and ask like, hey, what do you do for a living? And then someone else would come up and be like, hey, yo, I'm squire to the Princess of Terre de Sceaux. And we're like, oh my God, that's so cool. Tell us all about it. I really didn't know who Trix was other than, you know, a furry going into the week. But very quickly I realized that she was just kind of more of an extension of my like chaotic and fun-loving self, and maybe a tad bit more confident than I normally am. Like one thing I didn't expect is that apparently Trix loves taunting people on the battlefield.
Fighting on the other side, but I will say, two, you were taunting me.
Yeah. And it ended up just being really fun because my goal was either to put a smile on the enemy's face or distract them long enough where they get hit by an arrow, whichever happens first. So every morning I would like wake up in this medieval tent, put on my medieval kit, and go to breakfast and just chat with my friends about what they're going to do for the day. It was just so relaxing because I wasn't thinking about like my real life responsibilities at all. I didn't have my phone on me, so I wasn't checking YouTube analytics. I wasn't looking at the new social media scandal of the week. Like, my biggest worry of the day was whether I would have enough time to go see the medieval drag show and attend the Fay tea party. Like, where else could you just be wandering around and accidentally join an army of gnomes on a crusade through town? Some people changed on Gnome Night. We lost a lot of good people to Gnome Force 1 on the battlefield. Admittedly, there were points where it kind of did become like a little bit exhausting. Like for me personally, this was more socializing in 1 week than I think I've done in like the past 2 years. So by like one of the last nights, they were like, oh, do you want to go to this guild or kingdom party? And I was just like, nah, I'm good. But internally, I was like, if I don't get some alone time, I'm going to cry. But the good thing is, like, you had that option to do so. You were never pressured into doing anything that you didn't want to do. One thing that I want to emphasize that I think really made this whole experience special was the people and the community of it. As cool as this whole medieval village is, it's really the people that make it special. All so passionate about the game and making sure that everyone felt included. There was an idea that they emphasized a lot, and that was if you give away fun, people will do the same to you. The word like immersive is used like so much now, especially in like the theme park industry. And the way that they do it, it always comes across of like, hey, if you pay us a lot of money, we'll give you your main character moments. But with LARP, when you're all in a game, the most fun comes from giving someone else that moment. Showing your appreciation for something that they have done, making sure they feel cool. And someone will do the same for you.
The magic may be dead, it may be alive, but Conrad, we would love it if you would take this and find it again.
Water
And that's what really made it feel immersive, like I was part of something. As big and grandiose as some of the events were, one of my favorite moments happened at camp, sitting around a campfire, where we decided that we would play a lovely little game of werewolf, and everyone got so into it and started bonding and just had such a fun night of laughs.
Oh, my kidney!
It was a natural death.
The other brother, in apropos of nothing, goes, yeah, I killed those people. And then everyone proceeds to beat him to death with mugs full of mead, and the town is safe once more, albeit with significantly smaller population.
Can we get a round of applause for our amazing bard storyteller?
It was the connections that we made there that made these memories so dear to me. Even though we were just playing a giant game of pretend, I got to meet some of the most amazing people that I now have the honor to call my friends. And I can't wait until next year to see them again. And also beat them up on the battlefield. You guys better watch out!
Nice Nova Vitae for the end of the week. Nova Vitae! Oonga boonga!
Oonga boonga!
I love you guys.
You can kill people, but you can climb trees. Yep, this is how we're spending our vacation.
I was actually recording you again. Wait a second. There's a veil party tonight! What? Oh my gosh, what fantastic timing! Oh my god, someone else is also looking for car insurance. Man, I love that our chant will get me demonetized on YouTube. It's great.
Mafia, I memory point to the person you want dead again.
Is everybody got their eyes?
Ah!